And good morning. We are ready for 17.4. We're going to be going over irrational numbers, kind of taking a stop for a second over circles. So if you look at page 343, you'll also want worksheet 17.4 close by. Now before you move on from our exploration of circles, we need to take a quick detour to look at some additional number sets or collections that we use to refer to numbers with different characteristics. So after all, we just learned about pi, a number that, while we abbreviate it 3.14, it just goes on and on and on. And there you go. There's the number, and it just keeps going on. This number is different than all the numbers that we've dealt with so far. Up till now, all the numbers, including the decimal ones, could be expressed as a ratio of one integer to another. Even 0.3333 on could be expressed as 1/3. But no matter what integers we pick, we could never express pi as a ratio of two integers. We call numbers that can't be expressed as a ratio of two integers irrational numbers. Irrational numbers never repeat themselves, and they go on and on and on for infinity. In contrast, we call numbers that can be expressed as a ratio between two integers rational numbers. All of the other numbers we've looked at are rational numbers. Notice the word ratio in rational. So let's look at these two circles here. We have rational can be expressed as a ratio of one integer to another. And there's some examples there. Okay. Then you've got your integers there. Now let's look at irrational. These cannot be expressed as a ratio of one integer to another. Irrational numbers never repeat, and they go on for eternity. An example then would be pi. It just goes on and on. Now I know the idea of irrational numbers is hard for us to grasp. How does a number go on and on and on for infinity? Ultimately, pi and other irrational numbers remind us of our limited knowledge. While we can't even describe the exact ratio between a diameter and a circumference. Try as we might, we can never fully calculate pi. It just keeps going and going. Now, although our understanding fails, God's understanding is infinite. He knows everything. Psalm 147:5 tells us, "Great is our Lord, and of great power. His understanding is infinite." The infinite nature of irrational numbers gives us a glimpse of our infinite God. Not only does pi, though, remind us of our limited understanding, it also points to God's design throughout creation. As you continue exploring math and science, you'll discover that pi proves useful in the most unexpected places, such as with sound waves, general relativity, movements of the heavens, and probability. How can the ratio between the circumference and a diameter help us describe so many aspects of creation? Well, the same God created them all. Just as you can sometimes tell that the same artist painted different pictures, we can see marks of a common designer throughout all of creation. Now, let's look at this warning on pi on the keeping perspective. Pi is a pretty cool number. Describes the relationship within circles and many other aspects of creation, yet we can't even write it down in its entirety. Sadly, though, instead of worshiping and standing in awe of the creator of pi, many people end up standing in awe of the number pi itself. According to one book on pi, there's almost a cult-like following that has arisen over the concept of pi. It shouldn't surprise us that people would focus on the creation rather than the creator. The Bible warns us about this in Romans 1:20-23. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Be sure we always praise the Creator, not the creation. Pardon me. All right, let's look at section 17.4. This is irrational numbers. All right. So pi, give the value of 5 times pi, rounding pi to 3.14. So basically you're just going to take 3.14 and multiply it by 5. But it doesn't say you can use your calculator, so you just have to figure this one out yourself. So you'll do that one. Okay, so then on 2a and 2b, what is an irrational number? You'll go ahead and write that. The result of 1 divided by 6, is that an irrational number? Remember, if it just continues to go on and on and on and on and on, then yes, it's an irrational number. All right, so then on circle time, number 3, and building, you can use your calculator. Use what you remember of circumference and area. Then let's see, 5, you've got something to do, and then 6 is just skill sharpening. So this page ought to be pretty easy. If you have trouble with it or you need some help on it, just let me know. Okay, that's all for today.